Well, it is a Wednesday. We are inside the Puck Sports Studios, built by Limback Lumber, family owned and serving the Northwest since 1930. The Northwest premier supplier of specialized lumber and moldings. Summer is here. That means deck and fence season. Contact the folks at Limback Lumber, 206-782-3487. Visit them online at limbacklumber.com. Puck Sports Studios, built by Limback Lumber. Ryan Divish joins us. His Wednesday visit, brought to you by Chalet Bowl. Washington's oldest operating bowling alley, established in 1941, located in beautiful Tacoma's Proctor District. Family owned and operated for 40 years. The Frederick family staff specializes in customer service for your bowling, food, and fun experience. While at their unique 12-lane facility, go to chaletbowl.com to make your next reservation. Do we find you in Tacoma, or are we back home in Havre?
I'm in Anaheim still.
You're in Anaheim. Oh, I know what you did.
My girlfriend flew down to Anaheim on Sunday, watched the implosion live in the stadium, and then we've been hanging out. Went to Newport Beach on Monday.
Okay.
We went and hung out, messed around. Well, the trip has been a bit sidetracked.
Okay. Do we have she has one kids or two kids?
She has two kids. They're not here.
Okay.
So
did we go to Disneyland?
I think that's where we're going here in a little bit. Okay.
Just you two?
Just us two. So,
okay. Now how are you getting roped into this?
I don't mind going. She wants to go, I'll go.
Okay.
I'm happy to go. So on Monday we went to Newport Beach and we were hanging out. We went and had just kind of messed around during the day, and then found parking on Newport. It's a great area. And
it's beautiful.
Yeah, we went and had, hanging out on the beach, and we went and had lunch, some fish tacos, some drinks, and then, it's cooking. And so I was like, I'm going to go in the water for a bit. And so I go in the water, just kind of cool down. And as I'm coming out, I'm running out. I just feel something jam into the side of my leg. And I'm like, what in the, I was like, oh my God, I just scream out, something just bit me. And like as I'm going to leave the water, my entire foot goes numb. And I'm like, oh my God, this shit hurts bad.
Jellyfish.
And so I'm yelling at Cindy. I'm like, something bit me. And then I'm trying to run up because they're on a little hill at the beach. And she's just staring at me because she doesn't believe me. Because I had threatened to throw her into the ocean earlier.
Yeah, so she thinks you're screwing around.
Yeah, she thinks that if she comes down by the water, I'm going to pick her up and fire her into the ocean, which would have been a good plan had I been smart enough to think of that. But I didn't. And so I look down and I'm gushing blood out the side of my leg. And I'm like, oh, this isn't good. So I get up there and I show it to her. And then she puts some water on it. She realizes I'm not faking. And then so I got stung by a stingray.
Oh my God.
And so we go, and so then I'm like, oh, I'm in some pain. And so then we start trying to walk towards the lifeguard station, and she runs and gets the lifeguard. Lifeguard gets over there, tells me what happened. He goes, oh, you got hit by a stingray. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, happens a lot around here. And I'm like, I want to say, put up signs, dude.
Did you not see the stingray when you were in the water?
No, I couldn't see it, and it's
because they kind of hide out in that sand.
They hide out in the sand. And so then and as the waves are coming in pretty big. So I go, so, I'm in some pain, and the guy's talking to me, and it's a lifeguard in California. So it's like, bro, you okay? Dude,
bro,
what's the pain level?
Broski.
And so then they come and get me in one of the Baywatch trucks.
Yeah.
Drive me over to the station, me and her in the back of the truck, drive me over to the station. I get there. There's an 8-year-old girl who'd been hit by a stingray who was handling it better than me at this point. And so I get in there, and they give you this bag that's a stingray bag, and they fill it full of piping hot water, and you put your foot in it, and it makes the pain go away right away.
Okay.
But I had to sit in there for an hour, and then another guy came in, and he had one go all the way through his toe, through the bottom and out the top. And I'm like, so I sat in there, and then so we had to do that for the afternoon. So I pretty much ruined our afternoon at the beach.
Oh, buddy.
Then we went back to Anaheim, and went out to dinner and stuff like that. But, so my foot is now kind of swolled up. It's all purple and swollen. So I have a big cankle on one right side. It feels like honestly, how it gets, you've sprained your ankle. It doesn't have that ache, but it's got that stiffness to it.
Yeah.
So I'm almost like, oh my God. And so Like I remember she had to drive. It was funny. She had to drive us home from the beach, and like I'm in some pain. And then like we must have hit because there was a wreck on
just
55.
you
So
got
we had to
LA
go.
traffic, boss.
So yeah, so they take us to the surface streets, and I'm not kidding you. Like it was an 8-mile drive, and I bet you we hit 500 stoplights along the way. And I felt bad because she's having to deal with it, and then I'm like being a big baby in the passenger seat. So, yeah. So that one kind of.
So you just so for a stingray, you soak it in hot water.
Yeah, really.
That's it, and then
like
piping hot water.
Yeah, like the first thing they ask is like if you're allergic to bees or wasps, which I'm not, because like some of the toxins in the sting of a stingray are similar.
Okay.
But I did tell the guys, like, I've been bitten by a bee and a wasp a couple times. I swell up a little bit. Well, not your throat or anything. It's like, no, I just,
Yeah.
So my ankle's a little swollen. It's like right by my Achilles too. That was the thing. At first I go, something bit me, and then I could feel all this pain like on the.
Oh, did you thought you ruptured your Achilles?
I thought I popped my Achilles at first, and then
running
I saw
out of
the
beach.
Yeah, and then I was like, because like it was funny. We went and drove down to the beach. We're driving around, and like we'd had a couple sodas, and stuff. So like when we finally get park, which is an adventure in itself, we're like having to sprint to the beach so both of us can pee, so we can find a bathroom because we're like, oh my god. And like I'm trying to run on the sand, which doesn't feel great on the Achilles anyways. So we're not quite the
mess.
If we would have had the kids with us, we would have been the Griswolds, honestly.
Okay.
But like, yeah.
So you're headed off to Disneyland today, which we'll record this on a Wednesday.
I think so. That's what
I love Disneyland, so I'm not going to judge.
If she wants to do it, I'll do it. I've never been to Disneyland. I've been to Disney World. Like I've been to like.
Oh, you've never even been? Well, okay, then you got to go.
Yeah, but
you got to go.
I feel bad because like, the kids. Would probably like to go too, but screw them. You know what? They're 16.
Yeah, screw them. That's right. Had they never been either?
No, they've been a couple times.
Okay, so you got to hit up the staples here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Matterhorn, Space Mountain. Mm-hmm. So those are the two. Okay, those are the two roller coasters you got to go.
I've been to Disney World 3 times though. So
do they have those same rides there? I've never been.
I don't think they have the Matterhorn.
Okay, you got to go to Small World. You got to.
I've done that one. Yeah.
All right. What else? Do they have the Indiana Jones ride at Disney World?
I don't know. I don't think so, but that's at the other one, California Adventures. Or
Pirates of the Caribbean.
I've been to that one. Yeah.
God. They changed Splash Mountain. They don't call it Splash Mountain anymore. They changed like all the music and the imagery.
Yeah, we'll go. It'll be fine. I'm
have a great
looking forward to it. I'll say this, like whenever like it's just we don't have kids going with us, we're pretty flexible to the moment. We just go do whatever.
It's just so funny just knowing you, how you're just perpetually grumpy. The fact is you're gonna go spend 5 hours in the happiest place on earth. The irony is just so thick.
I know.
It's so perfect.
Yeah,
you're gonna be there. All right, we'll do a smaller, abbreviated version of the show today, and we'll do a little bit more on Friday. There's nothing to really talk about, anyways. But and then we'll cut you loose so you can go off to your adventures. I want to play you something really quick because you've probably seen this. Now, this is in reaction to Adam Jude when Jude is at the All-Star game and he talks to Teoscar Hernandez, and Teoscar gets up there and goes, "Yeah, I didn't like hitting at T-Mobile." Yeah. I never felt comfortable there. And he went on to describe how he felt like the mound was crooked and the batter's eye was just off. And then he's talked to several other people around baseball about the same thing. And then I remember when I read that, I'm like, God, you know what? I remember Bill Kruger telling me that like about a month ago on the show, or a month and a half ago, that he mentioned the same thing. I want to play just briefly what he said. This is back on, I think this is June 1st. Which kind of says the same thing that Teoscar told Adam Jude.
If you look at center field and you're building a 4 baseball park, Jason, the center field backdrop, the center field batting eye should be aligned with home plate. It is not. It is at an obtuse angle. In other words, the batting eye is facing the third base dugout. That's where it's angled. So what that does with that angle is that you've got a late western sky. That sun comes against that thing, or any sun, and that's that open. If it was angled straight like this, then you would have a problem. But it's not. It's this way. Why? I don't know.
Okay, I'll just cut. He goes on more.
Yeah.
You know, Bill, he'll ramble on more. This is in line what Teoscar told Adam, what you guys had in the paper. I know you've heard this from other players. Go more in depth. What is it that bothers these hitters, not just the Mariners, but other hitters, when they get up there at home plate?
Well, part of it is like, so I've heard like Mike Cameron complain about the glare off of it because like the black paint that they use or the black surface gets a glare when the sun is starting to set.
And they changed that, yes or no?
Can they change it? Yeah.
No, didn't they change it? Didn't they change it to a different black or something?
Yeah, but it still doesn't seem right. You know,
okay.
You can still see a bit of a glare.
Yeah.
So it's like, maybe they should do it like the matte black, like some of those cars, all the street racers in Tacoma, the matte finish instead.
Yeah, all in Tacoma. Yeah, okay.
Don't act like they're not in Kent either, you know.
Yeah, well, there's one in there's one in downtown Seattle that was like in like a Batman mobile driving like 3 in the morning.
Yeah, so I mean, there's that kind of that angle, and it is different. Because it's not straight down like a most batter's eyes, it's just kind of straight behind. You know, like Coors Field doesn't have a batter's eye per se; it has a forest basically. You know, it's just like all the green backdrop. But what you want is so you can see the ball out of the pitcher's hand, and so, and I think it does affect righties more than lefties because the way that lefties kind of sit in the box, it's different. But I mean, like. You know, thankfully, with Adam doing this, we're going to have a lot of extra work. I'll go and ask all these players. You know, I did hear I've heard other opposing players and managers talk about it, just how it's different. But, you know, if you go look at the splits and stuff, like Polanco still hits better on the road, or still hits better at home than he does on the road. Now, it's not a huge sample, but, yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, you know, I guess we're going to have to go out, start asking around and seeing.
Well, Jim Moore today on the Daily Puck Drop, he's doing the work. He wants you guys to all be down there and talking to every single player possible. And he goes, if I was there, that's all I would ask.
No, I've seen Jim work. He doesn't ask anybody anything. He just kind of writes off the hip. I don't know. Because he'll be just like, well, I don't know. But I can see him asking. He'd be like, the service, like, well, Scott, is the batter eyes crooked? Because I don't know. I mean, I heard that. I could be wrong. I mean, I'm probably wrong, but I've been told that the batter's eyes crooked. So it's like,
so this is exactly what Teoscar told Adam. He said, quote, he said he never felt like he was lined up in a straight line with the pitcher's mound at T-Mobile. He says it was a little crooked. I didn't feel really straight with the pitcher for some reason. I moved everywhere in the batter's box and tried to fix it, but I couldn't figure it out. He went on to say, I talked to a lot of players around the league. They feel the same thing when they go to Seattle and play 2 or 3 games there. They have the same feeling, so it wasn't only me. Now, if you start looking at the splits, and I looked this up just in terms of what they're doing, I mean, they're hitting 210, 295, 349, and striking out 29% of the time at T-Mobile. Opponents, they aren't doing much better there. Now, I don't think it's all because of how it's crooked. They've got good pitchers. But opponents so far this year, it's 202, 251, 320, striking out 26% of the time. The league average, if you take out T-Mobile, is 244, 313, 339, or 399. Now, it's not like when they go on the road, Div, that they're crushing it, because on the road, it's 227, 304, 384, and it's 689. So it's not everything.
The road numbers should be largely better, especially this time of year, because it's cold in T-Mobile as well. Like he hit better on the road because most of the environments are better hitting environments, not just based on the batter's eye or whatever. Like that's the thing too. Like Teoscar never said he said the batter's eye is at an angle, but he also believes that like home plate is crooked to the mound. Like all I can think about is the guys. Yeah. The annoying guy when you go to the driving range, it's got his aiming stick at the driving range, and then he's also got like 2 sticks, and he's like lined up and he's lining up everything. You know, that's what I think. I
hate alignment stick guy.
Yeah, you need that guy in there. Adam Lewis, your favorite Coug, is
he an alignment stick guy?
I think so. Yeah, I think he's an alignment stick guy. So,
well, I mean, but he's probably, you know, it's not crooked, but it's probably that depth perception.
Yeah, and
that
I think
it looks crooked to him.
They went out there and shot it with the transit thing and done all this other stuff to make sure. Like, but again, you know, if maybe it is a deal. Like, I don't know how hard it is to just change the.
How do you change it?
I don't know. Part of it is like if you look back in that area behind center field,
there's nothing there. What can
they do?
No,
it's an empty space because that's where they like move all their implements and stuff. Where the grounds crew moves all the tractors and all the mowers and stuff. They go through that area. It opens up, so it's almost like a storage place. I remember my one buddy Scott and Jason. They used to always tell me like, because you'd get them a tickets or whatever. Like, we wanted to be able to just sit in that area by an home plate in lawn chairs with beers. Can you get us that? I'm like, no, I can't get you that. But nobody's out there. We just want to sit in that open area with lawn chairs and beers.
They should do it like the Padres do it, right? The Padres have that a spot like that. Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I've heard all of it. Of all the things I've heard, that's right up there. But again, they could probably do it, but maybe they're still hemorrhaging money from the Hatback Grill or something.
Okay, but remember they used to have the trees out there, and then they got rid of those.
Yeah,
I remember those. They got that. I don't know what else they could do, but it's interesting. Do they do anything? Because it does clearly, it's advantageous for their pitchers.
Yeah,
it helps their pitchers out.
Yeah, I don't know if they want to do that, because if their pitchers love it, why would they do it?
I don't know. It'd be interesting. What do you make of these Jazz Chisholm rumors? You got Bob Nightingale. Whether he had a couple of cocktails or not, I don't know. But he's got this. That Chisholm could be the Mariners are the leading candidate to land him. Is that a good fit, you think?
I'd like it for the entertainment value.
Yes,
because Jazz Chisholm is kind of different than everybody else. Mm-hmm. Like, he's not real popular with his teammates or other players. I mean, like, the Athletic poll had him as the most overrated player.
Right.
Voted him as the most overrated player. I mean, there's guys that have played with him don't really care for him. Now, maybe he's changed a little bit, but like a lot of what Jazz does is about Jazz, at least talking to these players. That's not really how the Mariners operate. I mean, like if Scott Service is the truly dad manager, this will be like the episode of Growing Pains where they adopt the foster kid and bring him in that's troubled. I mean, like, Jazz is just all about, Jazz is about Jazz. That's what a lot of players have told me, talking to them and hearing from scouts. Now, maybe that changes if he gets on a really good team. It's kind of like the Luis Roberts thing. Some people think Luis Robert is a dog and he doesn't try hard. And he doesn't.
You're right. He has that reputation, right?
But I mean, like, you look at where Luis Robert is. It's kind of, do whatever because they don't have any structure. Like, the person Jazz clashed with the most was Don Mattingly when he was the manager there. Don Mattingly and Scott Service give off a lot of the same vibes as how they manage. So, there is an expectation that you got to do certain things. Like, I think Jazz is talented. I don't think he's ever truly reached what the talent level that he has, in terms of performance. Does he make them better marginally? But he's not good defensively at any position, and his bat is just so. And does the bat actually play well? And
that's the thing, is I just don't see. I don't see the upside.
Ask him, how do you feel about crooked batter's eyes? I mean, like, I don't know. I wouldn't give up much to get him. Like, if you can just get him for like lower level stuff, give it a try. But you're committed to him for a few years too for real money. So it's like, I don't know that's.
I'm not giving up one of the top three.
No, and that's kind of where I would look at it. Like, Luis Robert, what he provides when he's right is worthy of giving up good prospects. What Jazz Chisholm has never shown that he can provide anything. He's never played more than 100 games in a year since he's played 100 games a year only one time in his career.
Right.
So, no, I don't know that that's the
He
best
just comes across as a me first player. And maybe that's unfair, but that's just how the way what you're saying and the stuff that you read and hear about him, that's how he comes across. And I don't want that in the clubhouse.
I would never just throw that out there on my own without hearing it from teammates and from his former teammates or from scouts or from coaches that worked with him. Like, you hear that stuff from these people. Now, maybe that's not fair because I do think people evolve over time.
Sure.
But, like, it was the same thing, like, when I was critical of Winker. It wasn't just because of what I watched. It's also what I verified through other players, like, that they had problems with it. And so it's like, that's the difference. if he buys in, maybe he helps him, but I don't think he's an impact bat by any means.
Right. How do they set up their rotate? What does it look like on Friday with Houston? How are they
Well,
going to set it up?
I would hope you go Castillo, Kirby, Gilbert,
Right.
because those are your three best guys. I know they talked about possibly starting Wu in that first series because they hadn't used him enough. Like, he'd have a long layoff, but I don't know how they're going to work it yet. I don't know that he's pitched against the Astros a ton though. So,
has he even pitched against them at all?
I don't know. So maybe that's why you use him, is because they never seen him.
Spire be back?
They hope so. I mean, they'd like to have him for Yordan Alvarez.
Robbie Ray's not available?
No, that's a tough one there. Good one.
Okay, so second half expectations. What do you think tonight? Just predict it now. We're not going to hold you to it unless you get it right. If you get it wrong, we'll burn the tape.
What do you mean?
What do you think is going to happen? You think they hold off Houston here in the second half, or does Houston catch them?
I think Houston goes ahead of them at some point, and then they come back and hold them off. Because I think Houston's pitching down the stretch, unless they make serious moves, is just going to wilt.
Okay.
I bet you that the Rangers get within 1 or 2 games as well. So I think it's going to be like it was last year, 3 teams going down to the very end, and it's who can get to 90 probably that is the safest, 90, 91, and then go from there. But the Mariners, they're starting to get healthier, but they just got to hit. And I don't know. I mean, I think they'll add a reliever, and I think they'll try and add a bat, but it doesn't sound like a lot of people are really looking to trade right now.
All right. Yeah. Well, I mean, and everybody kind of wants the same guys, right? It's Robert. It's Guerrero. But Toronto again continues to give off no indication that they want to trade him. And I've heard Jonathan India's name being thrown out there. I mean, all these guys' names being thrown out there. But you're like, well, some of these guys their teams are still in the race. So why would those teams want to part ways?
The Mariners were technically in the race twice, and they traded their closer. So it's like some teams will do it. It's based, you'll have to give up something to get something, and we'll see. I'm kind of curious to see what they can do and what they can't. I don't think that it'll be huge names. I think it'll be peripheral names, and how you fit them and who that is, whether it's a backup catcher or it's maybe another outfielder, that's I don't even know if they have which side of the plate their preference for, but Dominic Canzone is out for a while with the groin strain, and they're not getting a lot of production from Haniger, and Rayleigh's cooled off a ton. That's somewhere they have to address. I mean, what they have in the minor leagues is nothing. I think we'll see Locklear at some point too.
You think they stick? They're going to stick here in the second half with Polanco?
I think they'll start it that way. I got 2 weeks till the deadline.
Yeah,
they'll just start it that way. He showed a little bit more leading up to it. So, I mean, the thing is, Dylan Moore has really cooled off because they played him too much. They played him against all these righties, and the success rate for where he's at is when he plays against lefties, and then even that's cooled off. But part of that is you just expose him to play him too much. So I think they need to add some pieces. I don't know that they'll be big names. I think they might be lesser names, but that doesn't mean that doesn't help them. This offense, you'll take anything that's slightly above replacement level because they're getting below replacement level performances from far too many players.
Okay, you have fun today. You have fun here on a Wednesday, and go check out Disneyland, get some funnel cake, and have fun with all the screaming kids. All right?
Well, they don't even have Mickey ears to fit my huge cranium, so it's.
I'm sure they ask them for large size Mickey ears. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Have a blast. Thank you for doing it. Apologize to your girlfriend, Cindy. Ryan Divish every Wednesday, brought to you by Chalet Bowl. Make your next bowling reservation at chaletbowl.com. They've been operating since 1941, located in Tacoma's Proctor District. Family owned and operated for 40 years. Ryan Divish every Wednesday and Friday. You can check it out on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcasts. And, of course, always at pucksports.com. Talk to you Friday, sir.
Yeah, someday you'll have to do a podcast with people that are married to or dating journalists and radio hosts. I'm sure that they would just rip us apart into shreds. I mean, like Larry Stone's wife. Like, do you understand how much this guy spills things around the house? Or Adam Jude's wife's like, you got to get up every day and do your hair because Adam's hair just looks naturally great, things like that. I can only imagine what your wife would say. Just like,
yeah,
my back is getting sore from carrying this family right now.
That's pretty much it. That's it. When are you going to start earning an income is what I hear daily.
Oh, it's like, income is relative, dear.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm happy. Just leave me alone. I'm happy. All right.
I'm standing here. Principals pay some point.
Exactly right. It's got to. All right. You're the best. We'll talk to you Friday.
See you, man.